I was in 4th grade when the teacher asked me to present my poem in front of the class. I was doing so well when suddenly the whole room started to stink. Goodness, that fart could ruin lives. Someone from the back jokingly said,
Ha 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 ha! I bet it's Tina.
"What? No, it's not me."
Look at her face. Of course it's her.
I kept protesting, but no one believed me. The teacher told me to leave the class and sent me to the bathroom. When I looked in the mirror, it suddenly hit me why everyone thought it was me. Hi, my name is Tina, and I have something called idiopathic craniofacial erythema, where simply put, I blush a lot. It might sound cute, but I turn crazy red whenever I feel anything. Whether I'm embarrassed, guilty, stressed, angry. Just name an emotion, and I'm a tomato. Please like and subscribe before I tell you how this condition changed my life forever. It was never easy to have everyone know what I was feeling, but it got even worse when Dad started working as a janitor at a posh private high school, and I got enrolled for free. But Dad, I don't think I'll fit in. They're all probably billionaires, and they'll just turn up their noses at me when they find out you work there.
I don't want you to tell anyone that I'm your dad, okay? I don't want anything to be harder for you. And you're just as smart and deserving as any kid out there. So don't let anyone make you feel otherwise.
But as expected, school was a nightmare. On my first day, the school queen, Diane, and her gang immediately noticed me. Their eyes were scanning me up and down, and it was really freaking me out.
You're pretty, but do you own a private island?
Oh, is that a requirement here?
Not really, but everyone here is rich. So I'm just checking which richness level you belong to.
I felt so annoyed. I turned as red as her lipstick, but they thought I was just embarrassed.
Aw, you're blushing. Don't worry, I'm the only one who has a private island. But at least tell me you have a private jet.
One of her minions butted in.
I don't think she does, Diane. Look at that cheap secondhand bag from Walmart.
Diane looked horrified. Yes, of course, I do. Who doesn't have a jet these days? I came in the limo because the jet has gone for maintenance. Just then, I saw my dad mopping the floor nearby. And even though he was poker-faced, I'm pretty sure he'd heard me.
Boring. But since you're pretty, you can join our gorgeous gang. We'll make your school experience beautiful like me.
Suddenly, someone whispered.
Good luck.
I turned around and instantly started blushing. Oh my, he was the cutest guy I'd ever seen.
Hi, I'm Brian.
He greeted me and I could feel my face turning red.
Ew! Why are you so red? You look like a stupid tomato.
Forget about the gorgeous gang. I don't want a freak with us. She's probably simping hard on Brian.
Well, Brian is only available for me, right, babe?
Come on, Diane. How many times do I have to tell you that we're not together?
Yeah, I hear you, babe.
I was so relieved to hear that Brian didn't like Diane, but I was sure it was becoming way too obvious to him that I was crushing hard. So I excused myself and ran away. I knew I'd have to avoid him, but that wasn't easy when we had all our classes together. During chemistry, he sat down next to me. Just then, the teacher started demonstrating sugar dehydration and asked us why sugars turned into black toothpaste after sulfuric acid is added. Everyone looked at her like she'd spoken Chinese. But I knew the answer. Because the sulfuric acid removes water from the sugar, releasing heat, steam, and sulfur oxide fumes. It also smells like caramel. Everyone looked uber impressed. Just then, Brian scooted closer to me and whispered,
I didn't know your brain is as pretty as your face.
Immediately, I turned horribly red.
What's wrong with you? Is that thing infectious?
I could see the girls snickering. What a total jerk. My blushing disease wasn't the only thing that was ruining things at school. It wasn't long before Diane realized I'd never worn anything that screamed $1 million. One day in the canteen, she suddenly came up to me and knocked my lunch tray off the table.
I've been watching you go to school every day and you're just walking.
I instantly turned red, totally furious. Before I could attack her, Dad was suddenly by my side.
That's an awful thing to do to a new student, Miss.
Diane looked like she was about to explode.
Excuse you. Who are you, her dad? Just do your job, you stupid janitor. And that's to clean up our mess. Here's some more for you.
And with that, Diane suddenly kicked the cart and spilled all the chemicals and trash onto the floor.
Do your work properly, or I'll tell my parents they can easily get you kicked out of here.
That's not how you should treat janitors, Diane. They work really hard to make sure the school is nice and clean for us. In fact, you shouldn't be allowed to speak like this to anyone.
Avenue. So am I supposed to cry and hug him for giving me his lame opinion?
No, but you're supposed to treat hardworking people with respect. Imagine how you'd feel if someone treated you that way.
And why do I need to imagine that? I'm pretty rich. I'm never going to be a janitor. I'm going to be sitting in a nice big office one day, running Daddy's business.
The principal, Miss Sheldon, suddenly arrived and asked what was going on. Diane immediately transformed into an angel.
Oh, nothing. The janitor just spilled his stuff and I was helping him.
She's lying. She kicked his things on purpose and was being horrible to him. I was sure Miss Sheldon was going to tell her off, but she just looked uncomfortable and told everyone to go to their classes. I was so angry that she didn't stand up for Dad just because Diane's rich parents gave a lot of donations to the school. That night, Dad surprised me with a beautiful birthday cake.
Yeah, happy birthday, sweetheart.
I'd completely forgotten I was turning 17 today. Thank you, Dad. I'm really sorry about how horrible Diane was to you. I wish I could just punch her in the face. Even the principal didn't do anything.
I'm sure she didn't have a choice, honey. She can't afford to make someone like Diane's parents angry.
But that's so unfair.
Well, I'm sure when you're rich one day, you'll treat people around you much better. Now don't worry about it anymore and open your gifts.
I was shocked to see some branded bags, shoes, and clothes. How did you afford these?
I had some money saved up. This will hopefully get those girls off your back for a while.
I hugged him and promised myself that someday I was going to spoil him and make him proud. But a few months later, my world turned upside down when he suffered from a heart attack and fell into a coma. I didn't know what to do, and how was I going to pay the hospital bills? When I told the principal, I broke down into tears, and she comforted me.
You don't have to worry about anything, Tina. I'll talk to the school board and we'll still keep you in school free of charge.
That's really kind of you, but I have another favor to ask. Please hire me in Dad's place. I really need a salary.
Tina, I'm not sure you want to work here. Maybe I could lend you some money.
Thank you, Miss Sheldon, but I'd rather work for it. Please? She was hesitant, but eventually agreed to hire me, and she was generous enough to double Dad's salary. When Diane saw me in my uniform for the first time, she cackled with delight.
I knew it. You're the janitor's daughter. It's a shame to have a poor freak like you here in my school.
The only thing that's a shame is that there are people like you in the world. Now please get out of my way. In between classes, I'd mop the floor and clean everyone's trash, and whenever I did, Diane would be there to mock me. One time, she peeled a banana and threw the peel right at my face.
Oops, sorry. I mistook your face for a trash can.
One day, we were in the middle of an exam, and she excused herself to go to the bathroom. When she came back, she complained that the toilet was clogged and I needed to go fix it. But I'm still answering my exam.
You're the janitor here, right? Do your work now.
I was furious. When I checked it, she had purposely stuffed a lot of tissue paper in the toilet. And even worse, she'd written the worst possible things on the bathroom walls. The next time Diane complained about the clogged toilet, I finally spoke up. Ugh, how long should I suffer from your constipation, Diane? I'm dying from the smell. Diane turned red with anger when others laughed.
I didn't poop, dummy.
Then, why's the toilet always clogged? It was now her turn to blush and walk out in embarrassment. One day, when I was in the janitor's closet, I was surprised to see a boy coming in with a paper bag on his head. But I knew exactly who he was. Brian, why are you wearing that?
Because you blush hard every time you see my handsome face.
Oh, wow. Not only was he a little jerk, but he was also really full of himself. He got rid of the paper bag and held my hand. Surprisingly, I felt nothing.
Listen, what you did with Diane a while ago was so cool. It was the first time someone stood up to her, and I'm impressed. Do you want to hang out sometime?
I was about to say no when suddenly he leaned in for a kiss. I was blushing now, but in panic. Before our lips touched, the closet was suddenly opened by a super jealous Diane.
You're gonna pay for hitting on my future boyfriend, Tina. You'll see.
One evening, when I was studying for a big test, the principal called me.
I'm really sorry, Tina, but the jocks and the cheerleaders had a big party at the gym, and we need the place clean for an assembly tomorrow morning. It shouldn't take too long.
But when I got to school, I realized to my horror that not just the gym, but the whole school was a total mess. There was trash everywhere and stuff written on the walls. All the toilets were also clogged with tissue paper. Of course, I knew the culprit. I had to finally teach Diane a lesson. I took pictures of all the mess. Then I went to her locker and opened it up using a hairpin. I grinned when I saw what was in there. There was still room for a few things, so I took out the tissue papers from all the toilets and stuffed them in her precious locker. Perfect. Then an idea came to mind. I sneaked into the laboratory and mixed up a few chemicals together. I put my formula on a sponge and wiped it across the wall. The ink came off instantly. I sat down to rest for a while and I just fell asleep there. The next morning, I woke up to everyone gathered around me, and Diane was screaming.
That freak ruined my locker. She did it.
The principal walked into the scene. It's true I did that, Miss Sheldon. But look at what she and her minions did to the school before I cleaned it all up. Miss Sheldon looked horrified to see the pictures on my phone. She turned angrily to Diane.
Diane, you have no respect for the people who work here or for the school property. If you think I will keep tolerating such behavior, you are very much mistaken.
Ms. Sheldon, you know who my parents are, right?
Yes, I do. And I will be calling them right now. I'm going to talk to the school board about having you expelled.
Everyone around us erupted into cheers as Miss Sheldon and a very furious Diane walked into her office. She had been bullying everyone way too long. Long story short, Diane was expelled, and even her minions were suspended. I was about to graduate high school in a few months, and I kept thinking about the formula that I tried in the school lab. I continued testing it at home, and after a few weeks, I felt I'd really perfected it. I set up a website and put up a small video of me cleaning the toughest stains with my invention, and to my surprise, it went viral. I had orders pouring in so fast, I was working day and night to meet the demand. 2 weeks later, an investor contacted me, and fast forward to a couple more months, I was earning millions. I transferred Dad to a better hospital, and just a month later, he finally woke up. I told him everything that happened.
I'm so proud of you, Tina.
I went off to college, but Dad and I continued my business together and moved into a mansion. We supply our invention to a lot of schools for free to make the jobs of janitors easier everywhere. Oh, and I also found out that my condition could be easily fixed by a small surgery, and I could certainly afford it now. Finally, I could keep some secrets. Hi, I'm Bella from New York. Before I tell you my story, please like and subscribe. My aunt said my parents had an accident when I was a baby. And since then, I've lived with her and my cousin Lucy. But you never guessed another kid lived in this house. All the wall frames had pictures of just Aunt and Lucy. Lucy had the biggest room, bursting with toys and books. Lucy had so many clothes she had another room as a closet. And me, well, I lived in the attic with her hand-me-downs. But I didn't care. All I ever really wanted was for Aunt to love me like she loved Lucy. So I did whatever Aunt asked me. I served her breakfast in bed, polished her shoes, painted her nails. But somehow she was just never happy. Once when I was 10, a new neighbor came to visit Aunt, and she looked awestruck when she saw me.
What a beautiful child. That gorgeous red hair and those adorable dimples.
Adorable? They're just dents in her face. Stop smiling, Bella. You look like a moron. Go get us tea.
I went to the kitchen, spat in Aunt's tea, and gave her the cup with a very serious face there. But soon after I turned 13, my whole life was transformed. One day at breakfast, Aunt was going through the mail when suddenly she spat out her cereal. Just then, I saw the letter she was reading. It had my name on it. Hey, what's that? But Aunt had already jumped off her chair and she threw the letter in the fireplace. Why'd you do that? It was mine. I saw my name.
And who would write to you? You didn't see anything.
As she stormed off, I couldn't help thinking, who would write to me? A few days later, the doorbell rang, and a postman was standing outside.
Express delivery for Ms. Bella.
Suddenly, a flying figure pushed me aside and attacked the postman. Oh my God, Aunt! I tried snatching the letter from her, but she was off with it like a bullet. What the freaking turtle? What was she hiding? I was dying to find out, but the letter stopped coming. But one evening when the bell rang, Aunt ran to open the door. And standing outside were 2 bodyguards with a wealthy-looking man.
Can you explain what happened to the letters and plane tickets I sent for my daughter?
Wait, what? Just then the man spotted me, and his eyes welled up.
Oh my God, you must be Bella. You look exactly like your mother. I'm your dad, sweetie.
Dad? You're my dad? Why didn't you come for me before? He tearfully explained that he and Mom had gotten divorced before I was born, and she told him never to get in touch. He found out just recently that Mom had an accident so long ago, and he tracked me down. As we hugged tight, I turned around to Aunt. You made me think he wasn't even alive. And why were you keeping the letters from me?
Because you don't deserve to go live like a princess. You should be my maid, after everything I've done for you.
Used to you? I did everything you ever asked just so you'd love me. Did you ever love me at all? Even a little?
No, how could I?
Dad told me to pack my things immediately, but before going, I made sure to rub Aunt's toothbrush inside the toilet. Then I took Dad's hand and left without even saying goodbye. We flew over to New York, and I was shocked at the size of Dad's mansion. My room was 5 times bigger than Lucy's. This was freaking awesome! As Dad was showing me around the house, I suddenly saw a tall woman staring at me coldly from a distance. Dad was married, so that must be my stepmom.
Mary, there you are. Come meet Bella.
But Mary just turned away and slammed the door behind her. Later that night, I walked past their bedroom to hear Dad and Mary talking in loud voices.
It's her first day here, Mary. Think how unwelcome she must have felt.
What about me? You just expect you'll bring a child home and I'll start loving her like she's my own.
I crept away without hearing any more. Great! Another mom figure who already hated me. When I went down for breakfast the next morning, Dad greeted me with a smile, and so did Mary.
Sorry, Bella. I wasn't feeling too well yesterday. I hope you slept well.
Yeah, as if she cared. When I asked Dad for the orange juice, Mary quickly got up to pour it for me, and she dropped the whole jug in my lap. Oh my God, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry, it just slipped from my hands.
I know you don't want me here, but you don't have to be so petty. With that, I stormed off. Her whole innocent act was fake, and she proved me right soon enough. A few days later, I was walking over to the sofa in the living room when suddenly I tripped over something. I went flying straight into this weird statue. I stared at the wreck in horror. Mary leapt up angrily from her armchair.
Oh my God! How could you be so clumsy? Do you know what that's worth?
Just then, Dad burst into the room, and behind him were some guests.
What happened? We heard a loud crash.
Oh, honey. Bella broke the statue by accident, but thankfully she's not hurt.
Dad looked really upset, but stayed silent. I couldn't stop myself, though. You were just shouting at me, but the minute Dad came in, you became an angel.
What? No, I was just shocked. I didn't mean to shout.
Stop acting, Mary. You just want me to look bad in front of Dad. I think you tripped me up with your leg.
What? You little brat! How dare you? You must have tripped on the carpet.
That's enough. In case you both forget we have guests, Bella, please go to your room.
I walked off angrily and slammed my door shut. I didn't trust her one bit. Dad got me enrolled in school soon, and I felt nervous walking into the huge building. A few kids were looking at me, and I smiled. And suddenly, a bunch of boys were surrounding me.
Oh my God, can you do that again?
Do what?
Smile, please. Smile again.
I did, and all the boys just stared at me. What was wrong with my smile?
Those dimples are so freaking cute. I could just look at them all day. Wow. These dents in my face, like boys like these.
Just then, a girl pushed through the crowd.
Get away from her, you morons. You're scaring her. Hi, I'm Nora, and I don't have a redhead in my group. You look nice and rich, so we're friends now, okay?
Well, she wasn't really giving me a choice. I was part of her popular girls gang now. I loved my new school. But it started bothering me really soon that Nora could be rather mean to other kids. I tried to tell her a few times, but she always said she was only joking. But then, one day, I walked into the cafeteria and I saw her and her friends making fun of a kid on crutches.
Hey, Limpy, what would happen if I took away one of your legs?
And with that, she pulled away a crutch, and he landed hard on the ground. Nora, are you crazy? He's already hurt. Why are you bothering him?
Oh, come on. We're just joking around.
But it's not funny. You're just being a jerk bully.
Hey, no one talks to me like that, Tomato Girl.
She pounced on me and pinned me against the wall. I pushed her back, and she went crashing straight into the chemistry teacher walking by. He dropped all the bottles he was holding, and the vile smell of chemicals had everyone gagging and running out of there. And Nora and I got suspended for a week. Dad would be so disappointed. When I went down that evening to tell him, he wasn't in his study. But I found freaking Nora poking her nose through his things. She just picked up a pen and put it in her pocket. What are you doing in my house?
Your house? You live here? Since when?
You're interrogating me, you thief! Put that pen back right now or else.
Or else? What does that even mean?
I leapt at her, trying to reach her pocket as she fought back and screamed. Suddenly, we were pulled apart by Mary and another woman.
This witch attacked me. She's the one who got me suspended too. Mom.
Bella, Nora is my guest. Her mom and I are friends. What's going on here?
I guess I just have better taste in friends than you. I brushed past her and stormed off. Of course, Mary was friends with awful people like herself. A few days later, Dad was away on a business trip, and someone quietly opened my door at midnight. To my surprise, it was Mary with a hand behind her back. What? What do you want?
Your dad told me it's your birthday, and I just came to say, well, happy birthday.
She stepped forward with a cake with candles on it. I never had a birthday cake before. I thanked her awkwardly, and she sat down on the bed.
Bella, I think we got off on the wrong foot, and I'd really like to start over. Maybe we can get to know each other better.
She looked really sincere, and I wondered if I'd judged her too quickly. Yeah, I think I'd like that, Mary. We started hanging out more, and I found myself actually liking her. She took me to lovely cafes, shows, and galleries around New York. She had the best taste in clothes, and shopping with her was so much fun. Soon after Dad returned, Mary threw me the most amazing birthday party ever. It was the best day of my life. A couple of months later, there was a dance in school, and I'd been asked out by this new boy who had all the girls drooling. That evening, I wore a gorgeous dress Mary had picked out for me. She'd even done my hair and makeup. I received so many compliments, and my date just couldn't keep his eyes off of me. We were slow dancing to a song when suddenly someone pulled the back of my dress really hard, and I heard the fabric rip. Oh my God. I turned around in horror to see Nora grinning and holding part of my dress. But everyone was staring at my back, at a long, ugly scar.
Look, Marcus. Look at that disgusting thing on her back. It's like she's freaking Frankenstein.
Suddenly, I leapt forward and slapped her hard. The only monster here, Nora, is you. I ran out in angry tears and got into my car. I didn't care if anyone knew about my stupid scar, but the only person who could have told Nora about it was Mary. She'd seen it when she was helping me try on a dress one day. I burst into the living room and started screaming. How could you be such a witch, Mary? You almost made me believe you cared about me.
What? What are you talking about? What happened to your dress?
Nora ripped my dress because you told her about this scar. Even Dad doesn't know. I only told you, and you thought it could be something you tell Nora to use against me. You're the most horrible person I know. You're even worse than my aunt. I hate you. As I cried furiously in my room, Dad came in and hugged me.
Sweetheart, there must be some mistake. Mary wouldn't do this.
She would. She did. No one else could. Don't defend her, Dad. So if Nora thought I was going to be embarrassed and hide, she was so wrong. I went back to school the next day, expecting weird looks and comments. But what happened left me shocked. The principal walked in during the first lesson and said,
The entire class came to me this morning to complain about an incident at the dance yesterday. And there is no way that I will tolerate this kind of behavior in my school. Nora, you're expelled.
As Nora stared at her in horror, the whole class erupted into cheers and applause. This totally made up for everything. When I got home that afternoon, I heard screams from the living room. It was Nora's mom.
No one had been spying on Bella. Your stupid maid saw her scar one day and told us. And so what? My daughter played a harmless little prank, and now she deserves to be exposed, expelled, her entire future destroyed. All because of that stupid, disfigured, red-haired witch.
Don't you dare talk like that about my daughter.
And with that, Mary punched her.
Get out of my house. You are not welcome here.
However, as the butlers let her out and she went screaming, Mary suddenly saw me and I started to cry. I'm so sorry, Mary, for thinking it was you. I've had a hard time believing you could really care for me. I heard you the first day you said you couldn't love me like your own, and I guess I've been scared to love you in case you didn't love me back.
Oh, darling, I said that? Yes, because I couldn't love you right away. It was all so new for me, too. I've never been anyone's mom, but I've tried so hard to get to know you and love you. And I really do now. Bella, I love you. You're my daughter as much as your dad's now.
I love you too. Hi, my name is Labu, and I was born to 2 lawyers in Connecticut. Please like and subscribe. Ever since I could remember, I was told 2 things about me. First, I was really beautiful, like Disney princess, movie star beautiful. And second, something was seriously wrong with me. I was different from every single person around me. Even my parents. It started with small incidents, like Mom asking me how she looked in a really hideous dress. I told her the truth. Yuck, your dress looks like poop.
I've been wearing this all day.
Oh, she doesn't mean it.
Yes, I do. You should throw that dress away, Mama. Mom burst into tears.
Labu, that's a bit too honest.
But she asked me.
Just say, you don't look good, okay?
I didn't understand why I had to lie. And it turns out in life, you're supposed to lie all the time. Like in 3rd grade, when my dad had his boss over for dinner. I said, I know you. Dad says you're the stupidest, craziest boss in the world. Why are you like that? He lost it, yelled at Dad, and then made him work for 4 weekends straight. Dad loved me too much to be mad at me, and he tried to explain the rules again. I really tried to learn them. But I was simply different. By the time you're in 6th grade, everyone in class will start cracking jokes and playing pranks. If you're like me and you can't tell when people are lying, it will be a nightmare. The worst offender was my classmate, Reno. He was the son of crazy rich politicians, and he thought he could get away with anything. He was always pulling pranks on students and teachers, and he never got more punishment than detention. One time, as a joke, he said his parents were secretly spies. I was the only idiot at the table who believed him. I started taking careful notes about every juicy, totally made-up detail. It was only when everyone was laughing that he said he was lying. You made all that up? Are you bored or crazy?
You really couldn't tell I was joking? Amazing!
She's like a stupid robot.
Hey, I know you. Your parents are my dad's clients. My dad's a divorce lawyer. The girl looked at me like I was a ghost.
My parents are getting divorced?
Yes! Didn't they tell you? She just ran away.
So beautiful yet so heartless.
What? People were inching away from me, looking disturbed. Did I say something wrong?
You're fascinating. Are you from another planet?
I didn't have time for his jokes. By the end of the day, the whispers were everywhere.
Labu's scary. She's pretty, but she's crazy.
Labu's the rudest witch on the planet! My tongue was cursed. It either made people hate me or fear me. By the time I was in 11th grade, even my teachers wanted to shut me up. One time, a teacher started yelling at me for correcting her in the middle of class. Why should everyone note down the wrong answer just so you don't feel bad? I wish your manners were as nice as your face. I wish you wore a nicer wig. We can all tell you're bald. Detention now. Whatever. I was fine being weird, Labu, with no friends. I understood science and math more than humans, and that was enough for me. The only person who wasn't scared of me was Reno. He was always ready to pull stupid pranks on me while we were stuck in detention. In a way, I admired him. Reno got to be as weird as he wanted, and he was still great at making friends. That's when I got an idea. Reno, you've always been weird.
Excuse me?
You know you lie all the time. You get poor grades, and you're always in detention.
Wow,
You have issues, but you are still popular. How do you do that?
I'm handsome, rich, funny.
Listen, I really want to fit in and have fun in our last 2 years here. Think about exactly how you make friends and explain it to me like I'm 5.
That's gonna take time. I expect payment. You can do all of my homework?
Then I expect a proper friendship course with tests.
Then you need to call me Professor Reno.
I'm not doing that.
It's a deal breaker.
Fine, Professor Reno.
We struck a deal.
The next day, I met Reno in an empty classroom during lunch for my first lesson on becoming just like everyone else.
I've known you my whole life, and using my expert observations, I've made this course.
Wow,
It only has 4 chapters.
And if you get them all, you will be popular.
let's do it.
Chapter 1. Jokes. Jokes are lies that make people laugh. You can't tell when people are lying, so just laugh if the other person laughs.
What if they're laughing at me?
Then look like you don't even care. Trust me.
We made a list of all the jokes I could use on people, and I practiced them on him for hours. It was hard to get the right tone. There was a new girl in my class, Stacy, and she hadn't heard any of the rumors about me yet. She was the perfect target for my new powers. I sat with her at lunch and rattled off joke after joke till she fell off her chair laughing.
Wow, Labu, you're gorgeous and funny. I'm having a sleepover tonight. You want to come?
Oh my God, My first sleepover. I was so excited, I literally rushed to tell Reno.
It's working already. Time for Lesson 2, Chapter 2, Casual Chats. Here is a list of acceptable topics you can talk about at a sleepover.
What can I talk about?
Nothing heavy, no depressing news, and no global warming. It bums people out.
But it's important.
I agree. I'm just telling you how to get along with them.
Fine. I tried to make use of the list at the sleepover, but it was hard. A few times I slipped up and said things that got me weird looks. I didn't even know why, so I just stayed quiet unless someone asked me a question. And I laughed when everyone laughed. Surprisingly, it worked. Stacy asked me to come for another sleepover. The next day, she went with me everywhere in school. When I saw Reno, I gave him a hug. I made friends. You're the best teacher ever. Thank you, Reno.
Professor Reno!
Oh, come on.
Chapter 3, Similar Interests.
On Reno's instruction, I had to do things Stacy liked with her. She was a huge gossip, and even though it made me feel weird, it made her wildly popular in school. She lived at the mall, which was noisy and overwhelming to me. Still, I went with her and made friends with lots of other girls in my class. Then she dragged me from store to store trying on clothes till I was exhausted. But hey, everyone thought I looked stunning in my new outfits. I slept for 13 hours to recover from that day. And then Stacy dropped a bombshell on me. She wanted to set me up on a date.
He's in chemistry with me. He's super cute. In return, you can set me up with Reno. He's your friend, right?
Yeah, he is.
Well, he's totally hot and really popular. So I'll go out with him. Can you ask him for me?
I said yes and hung up. I was gonna go on my first date ever. I was panicking. I found Reno after school that day and pulled him into an empty classroom. We need an emergency lesson. Stacy set me up on a date.
Really? You want to go?
Yes, but I'm not ready for this. We never practice dates.
You want to practice a date with me?
I need quick tips. Other than jokes, casual talk, and similar interests. What can I use?
It's a date, so there's touching.
Where?
Just the arm or the hand or...
Like this?
Yes. You could give him a hug at the end of the date. Don't pat his head.
What else?
You could kiss him.
There was a long pause, and he just stared at me. He wasn't gonna say anything else. Okay, well, thanks for the tips. I patted his head and walked off. I turned right before the door and asked him if he'd go out with Stacy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she's cute.
Fine, whatever.
Stacy was over the moon for her date. She was gonna have no trouble. She was fun, pretty, and sociable. I, on the other hand, was a nervous wreck. When I met her friend James, he said,
"Wow, you're the prettiest girl ever."
Thanks, same to you. Oh, shut up, Labu, you moron. I just stayed quiet and touched his hand like a robot. It seemed to be working until Reno's Lamborghini pulled up in front of the restaurant. He walked with Stacy on his arm.
What? You guys are on your date here?
I told you where we're going.
I forgot. Well, the more the merrier.
They joined our table. Honestly, I was less nervous now that Reno was here, but that changed the second, third, and fourth time he just happened to crash my date. One time, we were all at a swimming pool together, and Reno was acting so weird. He kept competing with James over who got to share the swimming float with me, while Stacy was just glaring at both of them. What in the world was going on? On our next double date, the tension exploded. Stacy got a perfect hit on the piñata, and when she tried to kiss Reno, he dodged her. She hit the floor right on her face.
Oh my God, what is wrong with you?
You scared me!
It's our 5th date and you're dodging my kiss.
That's because he likes Labu.
What?
He's been hanging around you like a freaking shield.
Labu, is this true?
No, it's not. Tell them, Reno. Reno just stared at us. Why wasn't he saying anything? That's when his phone started ringing, and he ran to one side to answer it. He came back looking really freaked out.
But there's an emergency, I gotta go. Bye.
Sure, just make an excuse and leave. Ugh, jerk.
Stacy was so furious, she was gonna melt. I was worried. I'd never seen Reno look so scared. I called him many times, but he didn't pick up. He didn't even respond to my messages. When he wasn't in school the next day, I knew I had to go see him. That weekend, I went to Reno's mansion for the very first time. It was huge. I pretended he had a school emergency so his butler would let me in. I could hear crazy shouting from the house. I looked up to see Reno's parents arguing like there was no tomorrow. I only had to listen for a minute to know what happened. Reno's dad had been cheating with several different women, and now his parents were in a full-on battle. I tried to creep out of there, but Reno's dad spotted me.
Who is this? How did you get into the house?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm a friend of Reno's.
Labu, you can't be here.
Your parents are getting a divorce. Is this why you're not coming to school?
Yes, but you can't tell anyone.
I'm sorry. Your dad's a cheating jerk.
Excuse me. You don't know anything.
I literally heard you say cheated. So you're a jerk.
Get this girl out of my house.
I raced out of there before he really lost it. Reno was actually laughing.
No one's ever talked to him like that. You're amazing.
Thank you.
I think I'm in love with you.
My heart skipped a beat. What?
It's a joke.
Oh, good one. I left feeling really confused. Was he really joking? I shook the idiotic thoughts away. I was just happy he was okay. It would take Reno another week to get back to school. I was so excited to see him for our last lesson. But the night before, there was a knock on my door. I saw him standing outside, and he looked mad.
Who did you tell about my parents?
What?
Did you see the news?
He barged into my house and turned on the TV. His parents' faces were on the news with the headline, "The biggest cheating scandal in local government." No!
There's a sea of cameras outside my house. Who did you tell, Labu?
I'm sorry, Reno. I told Stacy.
You what?
You were missing for days, and she was hysterical. I had to tell her. She promised she'd keep it a secret.
Do you not understand people at all? Do you notice anything around you?
Your girlfriend was sobbing on my shoulder, begging to know what happened to you.
We haven't even kissed. I don't even like her. Do I have to spell every single thing out for you?
Yes, you do. This is who I am. This is what it takes to be friends with me. Reno stormed out of the house, and I couldn't hold back my tears. I'd done it again. It was my own fault for thinking I could ever understand all the rules. No matter how many classes I took, Reno didn't come back to school. When I saw Stacy, I grabbed her by the collar. Did you sell Reno out?
Yes, the news channel gave me a nice price for the story.
What is your problem?
Reno is a player just like his dad. And you were acting like my friend while flirting with him the whole time.
I wasn't.
It was obvious. You think you can steal him from me just because you're pretty?
You're delusional, and you might have ruined Reno's life.
Good, he deserves it.
I slapped Stacy across the face. I can't believe I tried so hard to be your friend. You're pathetic. I locked myself up at home. Thankfully, my parents let me take a few days off school to sit in guilt. Guilt for betraying Reno, for trusting Stacy, for being born a stupid, clueless dummy. This was the saddest I'd ever been. My parents decided to take me to a therapist. When I first learned that I had social communication disorder, I was scared. I wanted to get out of this. But once I met other fun, amazing people with my condition, I didn't feel so alone anymore. When I came back to school after my break, I had new energy and confidence. To my shock, I heard that Stacy was gone. When Reno's dad found out she leaked his scandal, he got her expelled from the school. Ha, karma! I searched for Reno all day, but I couldn't find him. Was he still skipping school? Then suddenly, it hit me. I found the closest teacher and said, "I'm gonna bunk all my classes today." What? Classes are boring and YouTube is God. Well, there's no YouTube in detention. The moment I entered the room and saw Reno's adorable face, I jumped on him. Reno!
Labu, you're back!
No hugging in detention? Sit far apart. Far. We had to sit 3 seats away, but Reno still told me how things were at home. His dad had moved out, but they were doing better than before now. I told him all about my break. I am so sorry about everything, Reno. I know you must hate me, and I deserve it. I betrayed your trust.
I don't hate you. You didn't do it on purpose.
Still, I ruined everything.
My dad ruined everything. You just told the truth. It's not your fault. Everyone else lies.
So you're not mad at me?
Not after I yelled at you for something you can't control. I'm sorry about that.
Can we be friends again? I miss you so much.
What do you miss about me?
Your stupid pranks, your jokes, your smile. And I like myself better when I'm with you. Suddenly, Reno crossed the space between us and kissed me. Oh my God, want to go out with me?
Yes!
Good! He kissed me again, and our teacher screamed, "No kissing in detention."
Hi, I'm Michael from Chicago. Please like and subscribe. I was born to the kindest people you'll ever meet. My dad owned a giant tech company, and we were wealthy. But my parents were always caring and generous and taught me to be the same. When I was in the 1st grade, my parents took me to an amusement park for my birthday, and as we were leaving, I suddenly spotted a boy crying behind a bench. I realized it was Ethan from my class. He was a giant bully, but I couldn't just leave him there. Just, hey, Ethan, are you lost? Let me help you. My parents and I searched for his parents all over the giant park and finally found them after 2 hours. It turned out that Ethan's dad was my dad's biggest business rival. His parents didn't even thank us and just took him away. Rude. I thought after what happened, maybe Ethan and I could be friends. But the next day at school, I was walking down the hallway when he suddenly pinned me against the wall.
If you tell anyone you saw me crying, I will deal with you. Do you get me?
I won't. But how about you stop being a jerk to me?
Why? I still don't like your face.
He pulled my bag and threw it across the hall, sending my things flying everywhere as he laughed and ran away. Things never got better. He kept being a jerk, and my revenge was beating him in both studies and sports. Everyone else at school really liked me, but I always tried to be kind and helpful. Once in 8th grade, I was helping our driver wash the cars when I noticed something heartbreaking at the gate. It was a girl my age, searching the trash for food. I walked up to her, but suddenly she dashed away like a cheetah. Wait, come back, I don't want to hurt you. But she was so fast I couldn't keep up. We have lots of food in the house, even cakes. I'll get you some. She stopped immediately, then slowly walked back to me.
Cakes!
So when I told my parents about her, they immediately invited her for lunch. Her name was Veronica, and she gobbled up her food like she hadn't eaten in weeks. Veronica started coming to our house every day after that. She never talked about her family. Whenever I asked, she got moody, so I dropped it. One day we were having lunch when we heard a loud knock on the door, and seconds later, a huge man barged into the dining room.
Veronica, it's time to go home.
Hey, I don't know who you are, but it looks like she doesn't want to go with you.
I'm her father, and I don't need your charity. Stay away from my child. Veronica, we're leaving now.
She crept out and he led her away, and she didn't come again. My parents and I were really upset and contacted child services to try to track Veronica down. It turned out her father was a wanted criminal. He was arrested soon after and sent to jail, while Veronica ended up with some nice foster parents, who even enrolled her in my school. Hey, I'm really sorry about your dad.
It's okay. I don't really miss him. He wasn't very nice. He often forgot to get me food and made me leave school because he was on the run.
That's awful, but it's all in the past now.
Yeah, and I wanted to stay there. I don't ever want to talk about it again.
Pinky swear we won't talk about it again. I wanted to give Veronica a present for her first day at my school. So I asked my mom to take me to the mall and picked out a beautiful red sweater for her. I waited for her at the school gate. She was late, and I was beginning to panic. What if she decided she didn't want to go to school anymore? Thankfully, she showed up.
You thought I'd change my mind, right?
Yeah, you had me a bit worried. Here, I got you something.
Oh, it's so pretty. And red's my favorite color. Thank you.
She hugged me, and I felt a million butterflies in my stomach.
Whoa, who's this babe, and why are you hugging that cockroach, babe?
I was about to tell Ethan off, but Veronica spoke up first.
I don't know who you are, jerk, but don't talk to us again. Come on, Michael, let's go.
Veronica fit in easily and was making new friends in no time. I was a little jealous that I didn't have her all to myself, but I was glad she was enjoying school.
Guess what I did today? I joined the track team.
That's awesome. I'm sure you'll beat everyone. I'm still trying to catch my breath from the first time I chased you.
The secret to slowing me down is to say, hey, I got cakes. I'll probably stop running and follow that person.
Having Veronica around was a dream come true, and I was just falling more in love with her. One day after school, I was looking for Veronica when I found her in the hallway with Ethan. Hey, is he bothering you? Ethan, just back off.
Whoa, calm down. He's part of the track team, and we're going to an event together.
That's Ethan. He's been a jerk to me since we were kids.
But he's my teammate, Michael. And actually, he's not that bad.
Come on, Veronica, we're running out of time. Get it?
Veronica laughed out loud and walked away with him. What? It was a terrible joke, but from that day on, Ethan was always around Veronica, and it burned my heart. Veronica was so good on the track that she was winning medals in no time. She became really popular and was always hanging out with the cool kids now. But one night in the 10th grade, I was studying for a test when Veronica crept through my window.
Hey, Michael, I missed you.
Really? You bailed on our plans like 100 times.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. So listen, Ethan took me out for a drive, and I completely forgot about this big math test tomorrow. Will you help me, please?
Okay, I'm studying right now, so pull up a chair.
Oh, not right now. I mean, can you help me during the test tomorrow?
You mean cheat? You know I never do that.
But I'm going to fail, Michael.
Yeah, well, that happens when you hang out with people like Ethan. Keep doing that and he'll ruin you.
If you can't help me, at least don't give me a lecture. Thanks for nothing. I'm sure Ethan will think of something.
And with that, she left. The next day, I spotted a shy girl in our class passing cheat sheets to Veronica and Ethan during the test. That was Ethan's solution, bullying other kids to help them cheat. But just then, the teacher caught the girl and took her off to the principal. Moments later, Ethan and Veronica were called out too and then suspended for a week. I really hoped that Veronica had learned her lesson. But a week later, I found her and Ethan cornering the shy girl in the hallway.
You're supposed to be one of the smartest girls in class, so how come you're so stupid? You ratted us out to the principal. You know what we do to snitches.
And can you stop crying? You got snot on your face, and it's gross.
What the heck? Veronica was a bully. Veronica, what's wrong with you? Knock it off and leave her alone.
Mind your business, nerd.
I wasn't talking to you, jerk.
Well, you're talking to my fist now.
And then Ethan punched me. I tackled him to the ground, and we both wrestled like crazy until some teacher stopped us. For the first time ever, I landed in detention. Veronica tried to talk to me, but I just walked past her. I completely avoided her for the next few days. But then one evening, the police arrived at our house with some news about her dad. He was really sick and was being transferred to another city for treatment right away. He wanted to meet Veronica before he left. She wasn't answering my calls, so I went to her house. Her foster parents told me she was at Ethan's place for a party. Great. It was the last place I wanted to go. But I had to tell her. As I looked around for her, my heart suddenly dropped to my stomach. Veronica was in the corner with her arms around Ethan, and then she kissed him. Veronica, I need to talk to you. It's urgent.
What are you doing here, man? You're not welcome in my house.
It's not like I want to be here. Veronica, listen.
I'm going to call security.
Michael, can you please leave? I don't want you creating a scene in front of my friends.
She started walking away, and suddenly I felt a wave of rage. Is that all you care about now? I thought you'd like to know that your dad is sick, and he wants you to see him before he's shifted to another prison. The loud music suddenly died as I shouted, and everyone stared at us.
What, your dad's in prison?
You're some criminal's daughter?
Veronica burst into tears and ran out. Veronica, please stop. I'm sorry, She suddenly turned around and pushed me so hard that I fell to the ground.
It's the one thing I ever asked you, Michael. I said I never wanted to talk about my dad, and you decided to announce it?
I didn't mean to, but I had to tell you about him, and you wouldn't listen.
I think you can't stand that I have other friends, and you just wanted to ruin that. Do you think I should be eternally grateful to you and not have a life of my own because you saved me from a dumpster?
Veronica...
Just leave me alone.
The next day at school, everyone had heard about her dad, and her friends had dropped her like a dead fly. I tried sitting next to her at lunch, but she immediately walked away. But later that day, I saw Ethan and her holding hands, and she didn't look so sad anymore. I stayed away from them and tried to focus on schoolwork. Dad asked me to start coming into his office after school to learn more about our business, and I was happy to keep myself busy. Our tech company was launching new gadgets soon, and I was quite excited to be a part of it. But a few weeks later, I woke up to really loud voices downstairs. I went running and found my parents watching the news. I couldn't believe my eyes. Ethan's dad was on TV introducing a prototype of the gadget our company had been working on.
I just don't understand how our plans were leaked. My office is secure, and my home study is always locked. I just can't believe anyone working for me would betray me. This is terrible news. All our investors will be furious, and our company is going to take a huge hit.
And it did. The company suffered huge losses, and there was no way to prove the theft. I went to school a week after the whole disaster, and I couldn't bear to even look at Ethan. His dad was a crook. But later that day, I was going to sit on the bleachers when I spotted Veronica yelling at him.
How could you do this? You told me those files were about some small project Michael was working on, and you'd mess up the plans to embarrass him in front of his dad. You never said it was something that could bring his parents' company down.
Oh, okay. I lied. Boo-hoo. I didn't make you do anything. You got those files for me and then put them back, remember?
I was angry. I only wanted to humiliate Michael. You went too far, and I thought you loved me.
It's not my fault you're stupid. You really thought I loved you, daughter of a felon.
Veronica, you did this? I couldn't believe it. The girl I loved was responsible for our ruin.
Michael, please wait. He lied to me. I didn't know what he was doing. I just wanted to mess with you because I was upset. I never meant to hurt your parents.
Don't ever speak to me again. All I've done since I met you is love you, and you stabbed me in the back.
Wait, you love me?
Not anymore. Now I wish I'd never met you. The next few days at school, she didn't show up, and I didn't care. One day I was in my room when Mom came in.
Honey, we went to Veronica's foster home and they told us she ran away. I'm so sorry.
Whatever, good riddance.
Michael, that's unkind.
Mom, you still think she deserves kindness after what she did?
I'm sure she got manipulated by that boy. Remember, she had a rough past, and maybe she was just trying to fit in and be loved. I know what she did was awful, but she was a good girl, and I hope she's okay.
Mom's attitude made me feel ashamed of myself, and I soon started regretting the things I said. But I couldn't take it back because Veronica had vanished. In a shocking turn of events, an employee from Ethan's dad's company came forward with proof that the product had been stolen from us. They had to pay millions in damages, while his dad served time in prison. The family moved away and I never saw Ethan again. High school passed fast enough, and after graduating from university, I joined Dad's company and helped build it to newer heights. One day I was at a shopping mall when I caught sight of a girl who looked like Veronica. My heart was pounding as I ran after her, but by the time I got outside, she was nowhere to be seen.
Michael, is that you?
Oh my God, Veronica. I've always wondered what I'd do if I ever saw you again. I don't even know what to say, except that I'm so happy you're okay.
Michael, I thought of this meeting a million times too, and I really need to say that I'm so sorry. I was so stupid, and I knew even then that you'd never hurt me on purpose. But I ended up hurting you and your family so much. I left because I couldn't face you guys anymore. Please say you'll forgive me.
I hugged her and we sat on a bench and talked. After she ran away, she ended up in a foster home again and got adopted by some really nice people. I was so glad her life hadn't been miserable. As I loaded her groceries in her car, I spotted something in her back seat. It was the red sweater I'd given her in the 8th grade. Veronica, do you think I can call you sometime and ask you out on a date? I've wanted to since forever.
You can ask me right now, and my answer is yes.
Hi, I'm Rena. Please like and subscribe. I was walking in the school hallway after I failed my chemistry exam for the 5th time in the 10th grade. And that's when I realized that the best thing I could do was look for a good husband and marry him after graduation. I had no future in college anyways. And when I was busy imagining myself as the wife of a handsome billionaire, I bumped into a boy I had never seen before. And in a heavy accent, he said,
"You have 3 weeks to fall in love with me."
"What?" I was shocked, but he looked very serious. I tried to push him away, but he stopped me.
It's only 3 weeks, and I know you very well, Rena. You'll like taking risks. Agree to this and I promise you, you will have the best time of your life.
I stared at him and started talking, but I tripped over something and was about to fall when he caught me just in time.
Easy there, baby girl.
What did he just call me? I pushed him away and fell on my butt really hard. "Don't touch me! And where are you from?"
"Italy!"
"Italian guys are so attractive, but you look ugly to me." Of course I was lying. He was really cute. And so what? You made a bet with your Italian friends before coming to the States that you will make an American girl fall in love with you in the first 3 weeks.
Kinda, but the bet was with my brothers. It was actually for 5 weeks. But when I saw you and knew you were miserable and ugly, I chose you and told my brothers. Nah, I only needed 3 weeks to make this girl fall head over heels in love with me.
Wow. Who did he think he was? Did you just call me ugly?
Yeah, but people must tell you that all the time, right?
Ugh. I ignored him and walked away, but he followed me and started begging. He told me he knew about my sick dad and that I lost my mom years ago. He offered to pay me $10,000 if I agreed to spend 3 weeks at school with him so his brothers could see us together. And what did I have to lose? I already failed 2 exams. Are you gonna buy me food?
A lot of food!
Deal! And just like that, I became his fake girlfriend. His name was Antonio, and he was super rich. And in the first 2 hours of our fake relationship, he bought me 5 Gucci bags.
If I have to be seen with you, you should change your cheap, ugly clothes. These are your size and your favorite color. Black!
How did you know about my favorite color?
You mentioned that in an Insta post March 2018, and you said from now on, I will only wear black.
Yeah, it's the day my mom passed away, and I was just sad.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Please forgive me.
I saw this as a chance to make him feel guilty, so I said, "I don't know if I can forgive you." That might take a while. I saw a worried look on his face. Perfect! I excused myself to go to the bathroom to do my happy dance first, and then try on all these amazing dresses. When I left the bathroom, Antonio looked really impressed, and so did everyone else. I saw the look on every girl's face who made fun of me and my clothes. And to tease them more, I put my arm around Antonio's. "You're amazing, amor mio." "In your face, witches!" The next few days were heaven. I got the latest iPhone, expensive shoes and clothes, amazing makeup, and the best perfumes. Now, Antonio and I were inseparable, and everyone envied me. It felt amazing. Until one evening, I was studying for a stupid poetry exam. When I felt hungry, I texted Antonio and asked him to bring me some Italian food. A few minutes later, someone knocked on the door. It was a good-looking guy around my age. "Antonio sent you?"
No English, madam."
Just then, Dad asked me who I was talking to, and I said, "Some really handsome delivery boy. Too bad he doesn't understand English, and too dumb for a really hot boy."
At least I'm not too dumb to think that Shakespeare is two verbs. You even turned it into the past tense. Shook, speared. How did you even come up with that?
Hey, it's a confusing name. Poetry is hard. Oh wait, didn't you say you didn't speak English?
Well, your jerk boyfriend, who is also my brother, asked me not to talk to you. He's afraid that you would fall in love with me.
Oh wow, what's up with this family? But I decided to let it go and took the bags of food from him. And before closing the door, I said, "Thanketh thee, I loveth thee."
You just said I love you.
Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. This was so awkward. I just burst into tears. Can you please tutor me? Teach me something, man. I don't want to fail this exam. My dad will kill me.
Okay, I'm gonna help you. Not because I care or anything. It's because I want to tease my brother and spend some time with you to piss him off.
You guys are so honest.
It runs in our blood.
And he pushed me and got inside. His name was Lorenzo, and he was such a smart guy. He tutored me for 5 hours, and the next day, I failed the exam. But who cares? I was the fake girlfriend of a wealthy boy. During lunch, Antonio got me a cute bracelet with our letters carved on it. He was really into this bet, but suddenly he got serious.
Don't you ever talk to Lorenzo again. Do you hear me?
Or what? Are you for real? You're not the boss of me. This relationship is all fake.
I said do not talk to him again.
Who did he think he was, talking to me like that? Just then, I spotted Lorenzo. So I pushed Antonio aside and went to sit with him. I even faked crying over the poetry exam and hugged Lorenzo so tight. He hugged me back. Later that day, I felt really sleepy during the boring lesson and put my head on the desk to take a nap. But someone started throwing paper balls at me. It was Antonio standing outside the window. "What are you doing here? Leave before the teacher sees you."
Come with me now. I won't leave until you come with me.
He was crazy. I didn't want the teacher to notice anything, so I just jumped out the window. I fell into Antonio's arms, and his face was really close to mine. I could see how amazing his brown eyes were. I also noticed a scar next to his eyebrow. "That's a cute scar." But suddenly Antonio let me go, and I fell on the ground. Ouch!
Follow me.
I followed him into the parking lot, and there I found a fancy carriage with 2 white horses. "In what age do you live?" But just then, 2 girls pulled me into the carriage and put makeup and a cute Disney princess dress on me. And then Antonio joined me. We reached a beautiful meadow filled with wildflowers. We had an amazing dinner, and I said, "Why are you doing this? We both know it's fake."
I don't know. I just felt like it.
And then he held my hand and looked straight into my eyes. And he got closer. But just then, my phone rang, and I looked at it nervously.
Is that him? What does he want?
We agreed that he would tutor me tonight. I have a chemistry exam tomorrow.
That's not gonna happen!
Oh, I'm sorry. I already texted him and sent him my location to pick me up. And a while later, Lorenzo arrived, holding a pretty bracelet in his hand. He handed it to me in front of Antonio.
Every charm has a different chemical element with its symbol to help you remember them better.
You mean help me cheat better? Man, you're the best! I high-fived him and left him saying bye to Antonio. That night, I studied with Lorenzo for 3 hours. And to my surprise, I was finally able to understand some things in chemistry. I know it was my 6th attempt to succeed, but still. I got up to do my happy dance, and I don't know what happened. but I accidentally poured some soda on his t-shirt. I apologized immediately and started using wipes to clean up his shirt. Oh God, I'm such a dummy. I'm sorry. He held my hand, and I could feel his warm breath on my face. God, he was irresistible.
You're really pretty, Rena.
We looked at each other for a moment, and he got closer to kiss me. But I stopped him. I can't do this. I'm with Antonio now.
But it's all fake, Rena.
I know, but I think he's not that bad. And
Oh my God. You really think he likes you? How can you be this stupid?
he got up and left. Now I was really confused. Whom did I really like? Was it Antonio or Lorenzo? Next day, when I arrived at school, I saw Lorenzo and waved at him, but he ignored me. I walked toward him, but Antonio showed up and put his arm around my neck.
I believe your feet hurt really bad after last night.
Why are you saying that?
Because you walked into every single dream I had last night. Caramelina!
Ugh, so lame. But just then, he gave me my favorite chocolate and said,
I'm not as smart as Lorenzo, and I can't help tutor you, but I can give you chocolate. It will help you remember things better.
I thanked him and left. I spent the few coming days with Antonio because Lorenzo was ignoring me. And one day, Lorenzo didn't come to school, and I got worried because he never missed school. I asked Antonio about him, but he got all angry and didn't want to answer. But I insisted. And he told me that Lorenzo wasn't feeling well and was taken to the hospital last night.
Why are you looking at me like that? Go see your Prince Charming. He needs you.
I left the school and ran to see Lorenzo. I saw him sitting on his bed. He was surprised when he saw me. Lorenzo, before you say anything, I'm sorry about everything. I didn't realize how much you mean to me until we stopped talking. I really miss you, and I was thinking maybe we should go out. But just then, a girl showed up and held Lorenzo's hand. Oh my God! What are the chances that this ugly redhead is your sister?
0. She is my girlfriend.
What the freaking flamingo? I wish the ground would open up and swallow me.
Rena, listen.
No, it's okay! I just ran out of there crying. Why did God make me so dumb? I didn't go to school for the next 2 days, although I finally passed the chemistry exam. But I was too sad. Then I remembered I'd agreed with Antonio 3 weeks ago that I'd let him record a fake video of me begging him not to leave me, to show it as proof to his brothers that he won the bet. So, I went to school and told him I was ready.
For what?
For the video! You won the bet, remember?
I didn't win the bet. Lorenzo did. I didn't make you fall in love with me. Lorenzo did. I didn't break your heart. Lorenzo did.
Wait, are you saying that Lorenzo was involved in this? He also wanted me to fall in love with him?
Wasn't that too obvious, Rena? Can't you just look around you and see who really cared about you?
Oh, stop with your lies! Stop! I don't want to hear anything from you! Good job playing with my heart!
Oh, don't be the victim now. You just assumed that Lorenzo really liked you. And you ditched me so many times to go with him. And you didn't even care about how that made me feel?
Aw, poor boy. He looks sad. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I really need my chemical elements bracelet back. Since the bet is over now, and I won, you should give it back to me. It even helped you finally pass that exam. God, you're so dumb.
I got really mad at him and slapped him hard in the face. And then I got the bracelet off and threw it on the floor. Lorenzo got furious and approached me.
What did you do, you stupid girl?
Don't talk to her like that, you jerk.
Or what? What will you do to defend your little princess other than crying next to her?
And he pushed Antonio away, but Antonio punched him and he fell to the ground. Antonio wanted to hurt him even more, but I stopped him. Stop it! Enough with all this drama!
Yeah, speaking of drama, I just sent you something about your Romeo.
And he got up and left. The video showed when I left Antonio to visit Lorenzo in the hospital that day. Antonio took out a ring box and looked at it with teary eyes. But then he got mad and threw it on the ground. Then he sat on the floor and put his hands around his head. He looked really sad. Is this real? Do you like me?
I love you, Rena. You're amazing and funny and smart. And I understand that you don't love me back. So you don't have to feel sorry for me. You can leave me. I will be okay, I guess.
Or I can give you another 3 weeks to make me fall in love with you!
Really? That's amazing. Shall we start with a ring?
I think we can start with a kiss.
You're amazing! Cutie cupcake!
Wait, my mom used to call me that.
I know! Would you mind me calling you that?
You're amazing, Antonio! I was too blind to not see it. Can you please kiss me now?
I would love to.